welcome, welcome. And thank you all for joining us. I'm Dr. Keitra Armstrong, and I'm a professor in sport management and the director of diversity, equity, inclusion in the School of Kinesiology. But I bring you greetings from the Health Sciences Committee, the Health Sciences Deans, and all of the health science units at the University of Michigan who are the sponsors for today's event. Now, let me tell you, the units are the School of Dentistry, School of Kinesiology, the School of Nursing, the College of Pharmacy, School of Public Health, School of Social Work, the Medical School Office of Health Equity and Inclusion, Michigan Medicine, Michigan Institute for Clinical Health Research, Flint College of Health Sciences, and the Flint School of Nursing. We are so delighted that you decided to join us for today's event. Now, each year, the health sciences units rotate in who's going to host the event celebrating the legacy of Dr. King. And so this year, it is kinesiology's turn to host. And so I want to say a special thank you to the Kinesiology Planning Committee of LaJoya Orr, Emily Matthews, and Devonette Rosebrock. Now, this is the third and final event in our series addressing the theme, where do we go from here? Body politics and movement towards racial empowerment. Now, this theme is based on Dr. King's book, and it was the last book that he wrote before his untimely death. And I should also tell you that those of you who are here, at the end of this program, we're going to have a raffle in which 5 lucky people will have a chance to receive copies of Dr. King's book. Where do we go from here? So one of the things that Dr. King talks about in this book, he says, as long as the mind is enslaved, the body will never be free. As long as the mind is enslaved, the body will never be free. And so our theme is body politics, but we understand that it takes the mental and the physical for bodies to be in wellness, in a place of health and well-being. And so to discuss this, we have assembled an outstanding group of individuals who are from various health sciences domains, and they're going to share their insight with us about this theme. So I want to introduce our panelists in alphabetical order by their last name. So I'd like to begin with Abigail Eiler. Abigail is currently a clinical assistant professor of social work here at the University of Michigan. She deeply values teaching about social justice and implementing these principles into her clinical practice. She provides a variety of instruction in social work, including the school's community action and social change undergraduate minor. Abigail has amassed a wealth of experience working in tribal and non-tribal communities in the US and throughout Canada. She's a former president of National Association of Social Workers, the Michigan chapter's board of directors, and she serves as a member of the advisory board for the Washtenaw County Peacemaking Court. She is also the director of athletic counseling and the chief diversity officer for Athletics. And she's a chair of the Big Ten Athletic Conference Mental Health and Wellness Cabinet. Abigail's research uses anti-racist frameworks, and her interest areas include integrated health, culturally responsive care, suicide prevention and intervention, child welfare, juvenile justice, and sport and social work. Welcome, Abigail. The next person I want to introduce to you is Chiamaka Ukwachukwu. She's affectionately known as Chi Chi. So we'll be referring to her as Chi Chi. Chi Chi is a PhD candidate in the Department of Pharmacology at the University of Michigan, and she specializes in cardiovascular electrophysiology. Her thesis focuses on identifying new treatments for disease of cardiac excitability, such as long QT syndrome, which increases the risk of arrhythmia or irregular heartbeat and sudden cardiac death. She was a recipient of a Fulbright research grant and a Belgium American Educational Foundational Fellowship to the De Duve Institute in Brussels. As you will see later, Chi Chi is an Afrobeats enthusiast. And that's a fusion of multiple types of dancers from all over the continent. And she's gonna treat us to this notion, she's gonna lead us in a demonstration of Afrobeats. And she teaches these courses in the recreation department here at the University of Michigan. So I hope you brought something comfortable so that you can join in with Chi Chi as she leads us through a session of Afrobeats. Chi Chi views herself as an outspoken and fierce advocate of diversity, equity, inclusion. And she views her presence as a Black woman in STEM as a powerful avenue by which to impact her community. Welcome, Chi Chi. And last but not least is Dr. Kamaria Washington. Dr. Washington is currently a physical therapist with Therapeutic Associates, Bethany Physical Therapy in Portland, Oregon. Now, although she says that she has really been enjoying all that the Portland metro area has to offer, make no mistake, Dr. Washington is a proud Detroit, Michigan native. So welcome back virtually, Dr. Washington. She received her BS in kinesiology and movement science here at the University of Michigan and her doctorate in physical therapy from the MGH Institute of Health Professions in Boston, Massachusetts. She enjoys working with patients with orthopedic concerns and is most fulfilled when her patients feel more educated when they leave the clinic than when they enter. And she also has a passion for treating patients with pelvic floor concerns. And she was led to this issue, and we're going to learn more because of the notion of Black mortality, maternal mortality rates. Now, she hopes to blend her passion for improving the peripartum experience in her training, and she strives to intersect mindfulness, community responsibility, and diversity, equity, inclusion into principles of physical therapy care. And now, outside the clinic, and you're gonna get a taste of this later as well. When she's not in the clinic, when she's not working, she is using storytelling in her creative writing, and she's hoping to infuse that into patient care and advocacy. So, thank you so much and welcome, Dr. Washington. So now that we know each other, and welcome again to those of you in the audience, we appreciate you joining us, and we hope to deliver you a very insightful and engaging conversation as we talk about body politics and the movement towards racial empowerment. So let's get started. Now, you know, one of the things that Dr. King talks about in his book, he's talking about where do we go from here, but there's also a chapter when he pauses and say, how do we get here? How did we get here? And so I actually want to begin our conversation today by having our panelists to share with us how you got here. And so I actually want to begin with you, Abigail. Like, you have a very insightful story. You were a former student athlete here at the University of Michigan. Now you're a faculty member in social work, and you're also a staff on the UM Athletics. But talk about how your experience and your positionality actually impacted your advocacy for social justice, because I know what you do is meaningful to you personally and professionally. How did you get here?
So, you know, I feel like a lot of my pathways and experiences to get to where I am in my career today were set far before I was physically here. So what does that actually mean? There's this belief in the 7th generations and Native communities. So my father is Black and Native. My mom is 100% German. And growing up in Ann Arbor, primarily, I'm originally from the Gary, Indiana area, but growing up in Ann Arbor, you're exposed to a lot of different stuff. You know, the university is very much in a bubble, but for you know, students of color growing up in the Ann Arbor public school system, it is not easy. And so I saw a lot of racism, discrimination, biases at a very young age, and felt like through my experiences and through what I was seeing directly and indirectly, that I wanted to be part of change. You know, I firmly believe, like I said, in the 7 generations, that how I show up every day will impact the 7 generations to follow me. So I need to be very intentional with what I do, how I interact with others. You know, as a former student athlete at Michigan, I was the first student athlete of color on the varsity women's water polo team, both Black and Native. That is something that I'm proud of, but it's also something that's concerning because there have not been a lot to follow me, right? And so what I really put a lot of effort and energy into is educating, engaging in conversations. I don't typically call them difficult conversations. I think once we name them difficult, people don't want to engage in them. So engaging in conversations that are intentional, purposeful, and most importantly, that we're going to grow. So that's really how I got to where I am at today. My mom is a former social worker. My dad is the first Black police officer in Northwest Indiana in Hammond. And so I come from a long line of healing helpers. And I knew that this was something that I was supposed to be part of. And thank you for inviting me to be here today.
Well, absolutely. We're glad you're here for all of those reasons. And I have no doubt that your positionality is impactful. You know, we talk about it all the time, how representation matters. So I know that seeing you in the classrooms and seeing you in athletics, I know it makes a difference to the students and the other people that you are serving. So very good. Thank you. I want to go to you, Dr. Washington. What led you from a degree in kinesiology into physical therapy, and particularly your niche area of research? How did you get there?
Yeah, so I was actually pre-med at Michigan. I took an organic chemistry class and I was like, well, what are my other options? And so that was a small detour for me, but it brought me to PT. And, you know, honestly, I think I went to PT school and I was very excited about it. I thought that there would be so much change that you can happen. I mean, teaching people to walk for the first time, all of those rewarding things. But beyond it, to be honest, when I got to school, I got to PT school, I feel like I was kind of floating through and not really finding where I belonged or what population I considered dropping out. I went to my financial aid office. I was like, how can I make this go away? But then I attended a conference. It was Black Health Matters, Harvard's conference, and it was a 2-day conference. And one of the particular lectures was on Black maternal mortality. And I remember I was sitting in there learning, because I think I had heard about it before, but never really been immersed in everything that's going on. And I was just in tears hearing about the statistics of Black women dying at way higher rates when it comes to maternal mortality compared to white women. And I was just heartbroken. And I was just like, well, what can I do in PT to kind of go into this field? And the nurse who was leading the lecture, she kind of introduced me to go into pelvic health. And from there, I've just been set and want to make sure that I get enough training to be able to help women around that journey when it comes to the peripartum journey. And there's so many questions, there's so many things that are taboo that people don't want to talk about because it's down there, right? And so just education and like just having the community to like, just because you're having that doesn't mean it's normal, but it is common. And so just having that conversation to let people know, like, we can get through this. And with maternal mortality rates, it's a lot of it are preventable things. And a lot of it goes back to getting women to be physically active, because the top leading causes are actually more cardiac things. So cardiac myopathies, there's hemorrhages, different things like that are actually the leading causes for why Black women are dying at these higher rates. And so even with fitness, thinking about staying active and getting your body ready for pregnancy, and what does that look like? So I can go on and on about that because I love it so much, but that's really why I got into pelvic health, and I'm really excited about my training for it.
Yeah, well, we feel your passion, and that's so important, because the work that you're embarking upon is so important. And it's important that there are people who look like you who are doing this work. And so, you know, yeah. We celebrate you. We all own you. We all claim you. You know, all of us here at the University of Michigan, all the health sciences domain, we all claim you. And so thank you so much. We appreciate what you're doing. And we're going to learn more about that a little bit later. So Chi-Chi, I want to talk to you. I want you to tell us more about your research in pharmacology. And, you know, what led you to that domain? Because you say that it's a way in which you can have, being a Black woman in STEM, you can have a powerful impact on your communities. Talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, happy to. The work that I'm doing for my thesis work basically focuses on ways to restore healthy heart function in the background of disease. And so one of the projects I'm working on is basically trying to design a targeted therapy that targets specific proteins in your heart. So when the rhythm of your heart has gone awry, we can kind of restore that normal rhythm and therefore restore healthy heart function. To the second point about being a Black woman in STEM, you know, I grew up, so my mother has a PhD in organic chemistry. I feel your pain, Dr. Washington, with the coursework. And, you know, I grew up thinking it was normal for Black women to have PhDs in STEM because that's, you know, I grew up in a single parent household and that was the first person I knew. And I feel like as I progressed in my training through high school, through college in particular, and then especially grad school, I was often one of the only Black women, Black people in my courses and my cohort and so on and so forth. And so, you know, I've just had a general interest in using biomedical research to help everybody, just to help promote public health, to help solve or find cures for diseases. But in my training, I've seen kind of the discrimination, the racism that Black people face in the academy and beyond. And so being in this position as a PhD student, as someone who's doing research focused on you know, improving quality of life, I use my position to speak up for others like me in these spaces, but to also mentor other people who are interested in pursuing similar paths. So ranging from pretty much any space that I'm in, I'm like, how can I improve the community? How can I build a more inclusive space? So if there are not resources for Black students in certain spaces, what can we do to advocate for them? You know, to Dr. Washington's point about the Black maternal mortality rate, you know, oftentimes people don't consider, I think, kind of the socioeconomic factors that impact our experiences here. Why aren't there more of us here? What systems are in place that are keeping us so-called behind? What systems are in place that are keeping us oppressed? And I think without representation, without people, you know, kind of building a diverse group of people in these spaces, you know, people kind of have these flawed ideas about the experience of Black people in the academy. So one of the things I work to do is to kind of share what it's like to be a Black person in America and what it's like to be a Black scientist in particular, and how, you know, how people benefit from systems that uplift certain groups over others. So, yeah.
Very good. You know, think about this. Let's imagine one of the things that Chi-Chi said. It was normal in her family. It was normal for her to see a Black woman with a PhD. Imagine that. If we normalize that image, you know, we would have a different picture of what science looks like. So you tell your mom we appreciate her doing that. We appreciate her being the model for you and for so many others. So now I want to get into the heart of our conversation, and some of you have already alluded to it in some capacity. Let's talk about body politics. So when we talk about body politics, we know that the body is personal, but it's also very much political, particularly if the body has certain characteristics or ascriptions like race and gender and class and age, because we know that those characteristics impact how the body is treated, how it's diagnosed, what it has access to, what it's included in, how it's excluded, and the list goes on. And we know that because of the way that bodies are politicized, particularly racial bodies, we know that it has exacerbated some of the health inequities that you all have talked about already. And we know that it has an adverse impact on the opportunities and experiences for people of color. So when we talk about body politics, we're talking about all the ways in which the body is politicized based on its features, its characteristics. So I want to talk about it. And I want to begin with you, Dr. Washington, because you talked a little bit about it when you were talking about the maternal mortality rates, but just share with us the different ways that bodies are politicized in physical therapy. What are you seeing? What are the incidents that disturb you the most, in addition to the mortality rates?
I
Go
would
ahead.
say the biggest thing that I feel like I've seen is when it comes to pain and pain perception.
Mm.
There are so many, you know, as through your PT journey, you have different observation hours that you have to fulfill, and multiple times I have questioned myself as I hear other clinicians say, well, you know, this person is of this background, so you know we have to think about how they perceive pain, or this person is Latina, so you know she might be literally, and I'm just like, is there research to back this? Like, is this really a thing? And so I think pain and the perception, that has been the biggest thing I think for me. And even just learning about anyone who has chronic pain too, there's just so much that is complicated when you do have other identities incorporated into that and intersected into that. And so when that kind of transfers over to the Black maternal mortality rates, you have women that are literally expressing that they're going through these things and expressing this pain. And you might have a provider that's either, it could be from bias, it could be from them not having, or even that patient not having access to someone in their actual area that can treat them, that looks like them or understands them, is willing to listen to them. But there's so many things that are not caught when they should be. And I think that it creates this cycle of women not wanting to even share those things, because there's already a stigma of like, oh, well, I'm going to say this and they're going to say I'm over exaggerating. So they don't even bring it up. And so it becomes a cycle. And I think that pain perception is a huge thing that I've seen. It's like, this is not good. This is not good. And it transferred over to so many different areas besides Black maternal mortality. So that would, for me, would be the biggest thing that I've seen that's been discriminatory within what I've experienced.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's really interesting that, you know, Black people in particularly are supposed to be strong. Black women are supposed to be strong. It's not a choice not to be strong. You know, I don't remember if it was, I don't remember which author said it, but she once said that Black women are like trees. Like, they're not taught to be strong, but they're strong because life requires it. They just have to be rooted in a system of strength. And that's interesting because we have to be strong, but yet when we're hurting, people diminish the pain because of the perceptions that they have of how we deal with pain. Because for so many times, we just have to suck it up and we can't show weakness. And so I could clearly see how that has found its way into the health sciences profession. But it's kind of interesting that the people you're working with actually said it out loud. Like, you know, sometimes people think things like they're Latinos, so they need this, they're Black. Like, wow, they said that out loud. So I want you to talk about the culture then. I mean, you know, I think I know, but talk about the culture.
It's very, I mean, there are not a lot of people of color already in higher ed, right? And so you are predominantly in these spaces where, and people they're doing their work of trying to go through these trainings of implicit bias, but we all have bias. We all do. We all grow up from different backgrounds. It's what we have within us. But the fact that someone can feel comfortable saying that out loud without a question or doubt in their mind, and even I've been even told, oh, you should look at research articles that supports this. And it's just like, it's very almost enraging sometimes to think that you look at these bodies totally different. There was someone, a friend actually who went to Michigan, she sent me a TikTok of a second-year medical student who had experienced one of his teachers. They were doing suturing and learning about how far you go in for the sutures. And he was saying that his instructor told him, well, you know, because they have darker skin, you're going to have it go a little farther because the skin is deeper or thicker. And it's just like, since when is skin depth different on bodies, you know? So that culture is still very much there. I think there have been improvements, definitely. There are more healthcare professions and med schools that are looking to do more training and looking to do more of this education part of it, but there's still a lot lacking. There's still this culture that was founded on spaces that are not for people of color. That's just, at the end of the day, they weren't made for us. So there's still a lot to go against, but the culture of just kind of, this is the truth and that's it, is alarming. And we going back to the representation, if we have more people who look like us in these spaces where we can pause that conversation and say, let's look at other things. My background is a lot different and I don't see it like that. We need that conversation. We need those people at the table to talk about those things. So yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, so we see how bodies are discriminated based on what you just said, but with the pain perceptions and the thick, that gives whole new meaning to thick skin. Like it's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you, I want you to think about what we would learn, what unique insight we would glean when we center Black bodies as bodies being diagnosed and treated. Like, part of it may be cultural sensitivity, but from your perspective in physical therapy, what do you think is like, what's missing? What do we learn, or what do we need to know when we center the experiences of Black bodies?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think there's so much to learn in terms of, well, number one, so when it comes to more of the medical things, I think if we are able to, first of all, center around a community that's already been kind of pushed out from these spaces, there's so much more research that we could be getting better at, more data that we could be using to add to research. On a second note, if you just think about I'm missing the word for it, but if you have a conversation where you're only talking to a certain group of people, you miss out on all those extra narratives and patient stories that could add to this conversation. And so I think centering Black bodies and being able to understand that they're no lesser, there's still value and just as much value to understand their stories. It just would help healthcare. We'll be able to reach different groups way better and way faster with more understanding, more compassion, more humility to understand that we don't know everything. But there's so much work that could be done in a better efficiency even too, I would think, to add these conversations to the table. But yeah, I think there's just so much that we could do if we did shift the narrative to understand that Black bodies are not just political playgrounds.
Right, very good. You know, there's a question that we have in the Q&A, and I want to remind our audience to please put your question in the Q&A. And it says, as a woman who is not a person of color, I'm ignorant to the experience of a woman of color related to pain. Do you have a sense of where these stereotypes or perceptions have been learned? And do you feel that there were particular teachings about expectations of you that you learned growing up? I think that's to you. And we kind of talked a little bit about it, the historical narrative of the stereotypes that Black bodies are strong. I mean, the whole notion of slavery is because Black bodies are strong and they can endure. And so I think, you know, if I could chime in, I think that's kind of, you know, where it's reinforced. We know that, you know, there's many of the activities that we see Black people in, they're the manual labor that requires strength, you know, and the thinking positions, you know, not so much. And so, but do you want to add to that before I move to the next panelist? Anything else you want to add to that, questioners?
Yeah, that's a really good question, especially going back to childhood. And I mean, Dr. Armstrong, you really hit it with that idea of being a strong woman. And then within the healthcare system, I would say, there's just sometimes this disconnect between providers, especially I would even say bringing gender into it complicates it as well. There are a lot of women who deal with different things, especially related to the reproductive system, that if you have someone of a different gender, they just do not understand that. And it is, you know, they can go to school and get all the medical background, but there's just some type of connection that you can't always relate to. And that can lead to this pain perception not being perceived exactly how it is. And then adding the layer of being a Black woman, it goes back to this strong Black woman. And then so socioeconomically, there could be this idea of almost trying to take advantage of the healthcare system and just reap off of insurances. And there's so many different ways that people are stigmatized of how they take advantage of healthcare.
Right. Very good.
I'm gonna add a comment to that. So as you were talking, Dr. Washington, it made me think about one great example of this is the opioid crisis. So I have some colleagues in the department who are basically saying they're having trouble collecting data on people's experiences because this has predominantly been an issue affecting white people in this country. And that is mainly tied to the fact that doctors were not prescribing people of color, Black people as well, opioids because of their stereotypes or perceived notions about our relationship with drugs, or if we would abuse, prescribed medication. And so now that's spiraled into a place where now you have an opioid crisis in this country, an opioid epidemic that is affecting one demographic. There was I think it was an article in New York Times that was horribly titled, but basically saying that Black Americans were spared from the opioid crisis, basically because they were being discriminated against because they were not being prescribed pain medication as they should be. I think the question goes back to, in my opinion, basically what this country was founded on, right? We've been excluded from the beginning of time from the sciences. If you think of the father of gynecology who exploited Black women's bodies to learn about the reproductive system, basically treating, bodies as instruments and tools for science, I think that's propagated through to what we're seeing today. And it's one of the things I think about as a scientist, right? If you start with a system where we've been barred and excluded from these trainings, then you're going to have a homogenous group of people that set the precedents for what science is, how it should be studied, what it means. And I think Dr. Washington makes a great point about having diverse communities. We see in STEM, in science, that diverse communities thrive. And the reason being of that is you need a diversity in perspectives, right? If you have a problem and you need to come up with a solution, the more different perspectives, the different types of ideas, whether that's race, gender, intercultural, nationality, et cetera, you're going to come up with better solutions. So when you think of the fact that, our trainings, the research that has been done has really been done by a particular group, essentially typically white men, that's going to translate into healthcare professions as well, where these stereotypes are perpetuated, and then you find yourselves in situations where, whether it's malintended or not, the people dominating the field just, one, aren't aware or can't tie the history of this country to how it impacts our experiences as Black people.
Very good. That's a nice tag team there. You both are absolutely right. And so, you've done an excellent job of illustrating the different ways that bodies are politicized, racial bodies in particular, in the health sciences domains. And you've done a great job of helping us to understand the implications and how those inequities are not only created, but they're maintained and they're sustained and they're perpetuated. I want to go to you now, Abigail. So we've heard about the ways that bodies are politicized. And we know that for racial bodies, that leads to racial trauma. So I want you to talk to us about racial trauma and the mental implications of this politicizing of racial bodies. It has huge mental implications. And Dr. King talks about the burdens, of Blackness in a way. He talks about the things that people of color, Black people in particular, what they have to endure and how that weighs on their psyche. Again, remember, he says that the body can't be free if the mind is enslaved. So talk to us, Abigail, about racial trauma and the mental implications of body politics for people of color.
It's interesting. When I started practicing and doing clinical social work, what I noticed right off the bat was the amount of both, we call them little T's and big T's, so small traumas and large traumas that were coming in, that were being referred in, that had a lot to do with exposure to discrimination, racism, different biases, and how that was impacting how primarily Black women showed up into the space, into therapy. I will also say we have a significantly lower percentage of Black and brown people that come in for therapy because of the stigmas that we were just talking about. So there's that. But then we also have to look at what trauma does to the body, right? So we know that it has, it can cause a shift in chemical composition. We know that it can contribute to higher cortisol levels because of the amount of chronic stress Black and brown people are under on a regular basis because of institutional pressure and power, personal pressure and power, and sometimes even disciplinary. So when we're talking about increased rates of incarceration, increased exposure and experience of domestic violence, right? So Black women are 40% likely to experience domestic violence during their lifetime, where we see about 31% in white women. So we know that Black women are being exposed to trauma at a much higher rate. And when you have someone that has repeatedly been exposed to trauma, in this shift in body chemistry and higher cortisol levels, we are seeing a lot of health disparities, right? So we're seeing increased obesity and weight gain. We are seeing higher blood pressure, right? We see things like changes in skin, right? Not the thickness that people were assuming we were talking about before, but bruising and stretch marks and muscle weakness, mood swings, anxiety, depression. You know, it's really interesting. Sometimes when I will have someone refer to me now, because I work in collegiate athletics, someone will say, I just feel like their performance is off. And I have to think about what is going on with this woman of color in front of me, primarily that has been exposed to day-to-day microaggressions in the classroom, right? And outside of the classroom, right? Because we're not just confined to our Zoom boxes. You know, I also have to think about the level and the impact of acculturation that the student has experienced. So I think we are all too far familiar with what we refer to as code switching. And I remember getting on, you know, one of my discussions teaching in the community action and social change minor, and I said, I'm tired of code switching. Like, y'all are gonna get the real authentic me. And, you know, if you've got questions, please feel free to let me know. But I feel like we live our entire lives being told that we need to show up a certain way. And that has significant impacts on our mental health. Being one of the only people of color that swam and played water polo, when I got in the pool and when I got out of the pool, everybody else, you know, they're brushing through hair, you know, it's drying, it's curly, it's straight, and what's mine like? But we're taught to show that, like, that's not okay. So pull it back tight. Don't let people see your flaws. And those aren't flaws. That is the beauty of who we are. And we are just starting to see people embrace that. But I think ultimately it has had significant negative impacts on one's mental health, and that is generational.
Right. Yeah, very good. You know, like my homegirl, Fannie Lou Hamer said, sometimes we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And so we feel you, Abigail. You're like, this is who I am. This is who you're getting. Enough of this code switching, because listen, racial battle fatigue is real. The syndrome is real. The implications on our psyche of the racial trauma, it is very, very disturbing. So let's shift gears, and we've talked about the issues of body politics and things of that nature. Let's talk about a solution. And what we're proposing is movement. That movement is one of the ways that we can empower bodies that are racially politicized. You know, how we move, when we move, all of those things are important. And so I'll just want to stay with you, Abigail, to talk about the role of movement. And how does movement help us mentally? Because we're going to talk about the physical in just a bit, but just staying with you, talk about the trauma, talk about the role of movement in dealing with racial trauma when people have bodies that are politicized.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things, because when we are connected to our body, we become more accepting of our body, right? And that's pivotal to our health and welfare. And so I do a lot of education about the importance of movement and acceptance of self. When I work with the current population that I'm serving, you know, they are a group that when it comes to movement, they understand the benefits of movement, right? These are all elite athletes that are highly invested in who they are. And part of that is their physical health and also their mental and emotional health and wellness. And so I really, you know, refer to them. It becomes a collective discussion about how can we get you moving through the world, not just through exercise, but through the world in a way in which you feel comfortable, confident, and reassured with who you are and the skin that you are in. because Black is beautiful, brown is beautiful, you know, and so how do we embrace that? And we do that through how we move.
Right, right. And you're right, you're dealing with a group that, you know, in your case, like they want to move. I mean, the elite athletes, you know, movement is so much of their identity, is so much of who they are. But I want to talk, Chi Chi, you know, talk about, like, you're a health sciences student and you're doing some amazing stuff. Like when I was doing my research to understand all the things that you're doing with your scholarship, but you find time to move. So talk about the role of movement to a health science student that's enmeshed in high quality, high caliber, serious research. What's the role of movement for you?
Yeah, it's essential. I think, you know, I grew up, you know, I've always loved to dance, and which I will show a little bit later, Afrobeats, but it's a part of my culture. So I'm a first generation Nigerian American. So I was born and raised here. My parents are from Nigeria. So I just grew up around Nigerian music, all types of music from the continent as a whole. But that's something I've carried with me throughout high school, throughout college and grad school. And I also like other types of dancing. I was also a former athlete. So I've always just moved my body a lot organically. And I find that, especially in high stress situations, so whether it's the day-to-day microaggression of being a Black woman in STEM, as Abigail mentioned, you know, I recognize that, you know, I think those little stresses can build up over time in ways that we are all not appreciative of. And when I do stop moving, I feel it. My body is like, what are we doing? What's you're studying for these exams, but I'm a little, you know, I'm a little stiff. So, you know, pick one or the other. So I find time because I have to. And it's a form of therapy and it's an outlet for me. So it's physical release, but it's also a way for me to practice, you know, like taking care of my mental health too. So I struggle with it. You know, sometimes I go weeks, sometimes even months, but I always come back to it because it is a source of joy for me. And I just consciously remember that I need to prioritize my happiness as well as you know, my professional pursuits too.
Right, right. You know, so it's one thing to move, like you talk about, you know, some days it's hard, but, you know, research tells us, including some of the research that I've done on Black women's fitness, Black women still also want a culturally relevant experience.
Yeah.
People in general, people of color in general want a culturally relevant experience. And so Dr. King says, you know, we have a lot of programs. He said, but what we need are programs that provides the followers with an aspirational mirror. Like something that's aspirational that they can see that will inspire them to move. I think what you're doing with Afrobeats, it offers an aspirational mirror because you're providing this Afrocentric lens for which people can understand movement. Talk about how having Afrocentric music, because look, we know Black Lives Matter, Black Health Matter, as Dr. Washington told us, you know, but Black music also matters.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, there's a book, one of my friends, the guy, we're doing this project, and he has a book on Ed Sarah, Black Music Matters. It's powerful. Talk about the role of Afrocentric music in encouraging people to move.
Yeah, you know, I think the first thing that comes to mind is just, and you'll hear the song that I play today, it's one of my favorites, but I think it's literally the rhythm. Like it makes you, I see Dr. Washington.
She's ready to move. She's ready.
You know, it makes you want to move. But a lot of the cultural dances specifically that are Afrocentric are formed around building community, right? So there are certain dances that you do together in a group. There's certain dances that you partner, whether it's battling, whether it's certain type of footwork, like it's a way to socialize and connect with one another. I think, you know, that's one of the reasons I love going to Afrobeats parties is to dance and to dance with other people. And you're kind of sharing and exchanging this energy of excitement. So it is really a way to just kind of connect with people. I also think, Black bodies, we move differently. Every culture has their set ways of moving, and that's going to change across the continent. You will see all kinds of different styles and blends of dances, but I think focusing on music that we relate to is also it's empowering. It's like creating a space where you belong and you can move your body freely and in a way that feels natural to you. I think I can speak specifically as a Nigerian American. There are some moves that, like, I see someone do it once and I have it. Whereas someone else, I might have to teach them a few times or teach them the rhythm, but it literally just comes to me like naturally. And so I think just Black music as a whole, you'll see that whether it's, on the continent, whether it's in the States, whether it's Southern music, whether it's East Coast, like you'll see that it's just different forms of expression. And it's really just a form of language and communicating with each other. So I think it's important to have that. So we have a space where we literally hear ourselves reflected in the music and the rhythms and the beats and the bass and whatever it is.
Right. It's been said that, like, I love music. I love jazz music, blues music. I love all music. But it's been said, music gives flight to our minds, wings to our imaginations, and gaiety to all of life. So if you look at that component of music, and then you add this Afrocentric undertone, you can see how it could be impactful in moving bodies of color. Now, I also want to talk really quickly about, reimagining dance as fitness. People say there's a term, exercise is medicine. That's not working. If you reframe exercise as medicine, that's not encouraging people to move. But the whole notion with Michelle Obama's Let's Move, it was dance. And so I think I want you to talk about the importance of helping people of color to reimagine exercise and fitness. And one way is through dance.
Yeah, definitely. I can relate to that. I have my little virtual workout groups and I do my yoga here and there. But I find that it's easier for me to do rigorous exercise when it's something that I enjoy. And, dancing is a workout. Like if you commit to it and you try to whip up a 1-minute routine and practice that a few times, like it's exercise. So I would encourage people to consider, like, you can enjoy the exercise that you're doing, and dance is absolutely fit. You'll see when I show you guys the choreo today, it's it is absolutely fitness. And it's one of the things, actually just yesterday, I was thinking to myself, I haven't exercised in a while and I'm starting to feel the impacts. My mood is a little bit down. And then I just went to dance. I just played my favorite song and freestyled and came up with some choreo and said, I'm going to do this for an hour. And I was out of breath. So it's, it's tying fun into exercise, and dance is definitely an avenue to do that. Whether that's Afrobeats, whether that's roller skating, that's a workout. Like there's so many ways that you can incorporate fun movement to get the workout that you need or want.
Right, absolutely. And so I think it's important that, I want to spend a little time. Okay, one more thing I have to talk about. I know we're running out of time, but I got to get this question in really quickly before I have you all to wrap it up. When we talk about movement and we talk about fitness, and particularly for Black women, hair care has always been an issue. And I know that you do some things, helping people to understand, but that's another way that Black bodies are politicized. Abigail mentioned it, talking about, what your hair is like when you come out of the pool. So just talk really quickly about, hair care and the importance now of natural hair care and all the other ways that Black women are just owning their hair and not being politicized and not using that as a reason not to exercise and work out.
Yeah, that strikes a chord. Because to be honest, if I have natural hair, I'm wearing a wig today, but if I get my hair pressed, that's a week I'm not working out. Like that's just, I'm just gonna be honest. Like I'm not, that's money I'm spending at the salon, but I've recognized that, that's a once in a while thing. That's not, it's not sustainable. It's not a healthy way to live your life. So I think as Black women in particular, we've had to learn how to make it work. So whether that's, put your weave up, or you put pin curls, or you tie a scarf, or you put a sweatband, like I think we just have to figure out a way that works for us. So when I dance, the wig comes off because I'm not sweating out my wig. You'll see the braids underneath. I'll dance, I'll take my shower, and the wig comes right back on, you know? So, and in a way, I've learned to say, you know, my hair in all of its forms is beautiful. The braided hair under the wig is beautiful. So you're gonna get what you get and you're gonna like it. And I think we need to just start, I think, affirming ourselves in all the forms that we take, whether it's straight hair, the natural hair, the hair out of the pool. It's just kind of really standing in our presence saying, look, this is what my hair does. I'm going to work with what I have. And this is also accepted. This is also beautiful. This is also natural. So I think it's nice being in this era of 2021 where we're now like, I think, learning to appreciate our beauty and our Blackness more. So I just hope to see more of that within the community. But I think the bottom line is you need to exercise regularly and you need your hair to work around your exercise schedule and not the other way around.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. Because again, these are ways that bodies are politicized that are often unique to Black women that other people, other individuals don't have to contend. Really quickly before I ask you to wrap it up, Dr. Washington, we've learned about the importance of movement, way to inspire people to move, things to consider. As a physical therapist, could you just give us some big picture items, things that we should think about to move safely and to move without injuring our bodies unnecessarily? Because, you know, it's going to hurt a little, we know that. But just can you share with us some high level tips, how to move safely?
Yeah, I would say one of the things that we try to say in our clinic that I've learned to say is making sure that, because people are like, oh, this hurts, or I don't know if I'm supposed to feel like that. You can be sore and still be safe. So sore can still be safe. So when it comes to, if you want to do a marathon, a half marathon, whatever it may be, train for it. And don't just jump into it. I think some people want to go from A to Z and you got to train for it. Same thing with the pregnancy. I told my mom, it's like, we don't get enough of that, of you're going to do this, perform this feat, this performance, basically this miracle in 9 months, and you haven't prepared your body for that. Mm-hmm. We need to be moving to do that, to get ready for it. It's the same thing for any athlete, for anyone giving birth to a baby. All those things are important. As far as like practical things, a lot of people are working from home now. We're on Zoom, we're over computers. It's this idea called upper cross syndrome, where you get this kind of hunching that happens because we're over our phones, we're here, we're texting, we're all here. And so a lot of things that I heard people who come in with like neck pain and back pain, it's a lot of opening up of the chest. So doing a lot of extension-based workouts, trying to do neck stretches, so stretching through the upper traps, different things like that for long-term safety, because I see it's a lot of people come in and they just need the education piece of how do you set up your desk? Can you do a sit to stand desk? Can you do these things that are incorporating movement just throughout your day? So setting a timer for an hour and just saying, I need to get up and just do one mobility-based exercise. I love cat-cow, so yoga has a lot of opening and kind of going into that mobility of the spine. But all those things are going to keep you safe for being able to do other activities and other movements. And so I would say thinking about doing more opening up of the chest, a pec stretch, stretching through here. So all those type of things are so helpful for the long term.
Yeah, very good. I tell you what, this is so exciting. This conversation is so exciting. And I hope those of you out in Zoom land are enjoying it as much as I am. Time is just flying, but that's what happens, right? Time flies when you're having fun. So we really want to bring closure to the panel part because we're going to shift gears and have Chi Chi to take us through an Afrobeats demonstration. But before we do that, I really want to give Dr. Washington and Abigail, I want to give you a chance to close us out. I want to begin with you, Abigail. You know, when we talk about, what's next, mindfulness is such an important part of, dealing with racial trauma and having our bodies politicized. I want you to talk about, the role of mindfulness and sort of lead us through, like close us out with some mindfulness activity that's going to help us, all of us, regardless of what our body looks like and feels like. Just sort of close us out with a conversation and an illustration of a mindfulness practice.
Sure. So I think, it's interesting with mindfulness, we struggle to be in the present. That is very common. We have one thought or one foot, sometimes it's in the past, right? We are thinking about all that came before us, the stressors, the joys, and we have one foot that's like dashing in front of us, where we are like feeding our worries and concerns and our stressors for the future. And mindfulness creates this opportunity to kind of bring both of those feet together, you know, be in this place. And I think a lot of times there's this misconception that like we should be erasing all thoughts from our mind. We're not wired to turn off our thoughts. We're not. But we can acknowledge them and kind of accept the thoughts and then let them go in a way that is going to be more helpful to us and more healing to us, which is why culturally responsive mindfulness practices are so important. It's something that I do with student athletes, primarily student athletes of color that come in and are really struggling with who am I and where is my space and place, right? So I spend a lot of time talking about culturally responsive care and what does that look like for our student athletes of color. So I can lead you all through a brief script, and then I'm ready to get moving with Chi Chi.
All right.
So I won't take us too low into our mindfulness practice. Otherwise, Chi Chi's gonna be like, "Come on, let's go," and we're gonna be sluggish. So I'll read a brief script. I'll just modify it a little bit so we've got time. Okay, so this script specifically was written by Samantha Feller, and Samantha talks a lot about self-love. So what I'm going to have you all do, if you're comfortable, is close your eyes, soften your gaze, and become in tune with your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Allowing any tension to drift away and our bodies to relax as we roll our shoulders back, dropping them down and feeling at peace. Breathing in and breathing out. Place both of your hands over your heart, continuing to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Ask yourself, how does it feel to place my hands on this tender area, this place where I experience love for self and love for others? Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. As you continue to breathe in and out, with each exhale, imagine that you're releasing any negative thoughts that might be lingering in your mind. Breathing in and breathing out. As you breathe in, think of I'm worthy. As you exhale, I'm enough. Breathing in and breathing out, connect to your ancestors, the strength of your community, and the love and respect that we have for our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Telling yourself, I love you. You are beautiful. You are worthy of happiness. Breathing in and breathing out as you're at peace with the body that you're in, the community in which supports you, and the joy in which you have yet to live. Breathing in and breathing out. Go ahead and wiggle around a little bit. Slowly open your eyes and coming back to center.
Wow, that is wonderful. Just taking a moment to pause to like celebrate who we are and all of who we are. Thank you so much, Abigail. I have to call you. We have to do that more often. Like, I like it. It's freeing because, you know, we cannot harbor all of the tensions that the world casts upon us. And that's why I think it's important, you know, that Abigail show us ways of releasing it and getting back to our center, you know, and the beauty of all that we are. Thank you so much, Abigail.
Yeah, we do a lot of like progressive muscle relaxation, like head to toe body scans that I find to be really helpful. But I think when we're dealing with a lot of pain as it relates to race and racism. It's important to really just love ourselves and love the communities in which we come from.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Washington, I know that, you know, you're a physical therapist, but you're a social justice activist at heart. And I know that you try to bring your consciousness into your work, and we appreciate that. And so I'd like for you to give us a message on our theme of where do we go from here? Body politics, movement towards racial empowerment. Close us out with in your own special way, with your special reading, recitation, performance.
Okay. Thank you. So this piece goes very hand in hand with the Black maternal mortality that I spoke of, and so I was going to write a different piece, but this just felt like it would flow into it. So get set up here. This is journal entry number 324, June 7th, 2018. When I was 9, I had my adulthood figured out. I was going to be married to Derek Luke, and we would have 4 amazing, smart, and talented sons. Girls with their pigtails and Sunday dresses seemed like too much of a task, so 4 sons was what I signed, sealed, and delivered to God to take care of. I would use my baby dolls to practice, find the right angle for their head to rest with confidence that I wouldn't drop them. I was captivated by motherhood. Even if I never got Derek Luke, I wanted those babies. Fast forward 20 years and I don't have to pretend anymore. There's no make-believing that I'm renting out space. My body has become someone's home, a 9-month lease with food and transportation guaranteed, walls that continuously expand for accommodation. I've never felt myself be so connected to someone. Your every move catches my attention. Your weight keeps me grounded. I lay my hands over you until my arms are able to hold you. A face I haven't yet held, a body I haven't yet embraced, a smile I haven't yet seen, but already you are my world. I imagine what you will look like. I only imagine my children looking like Derek Luke when I was younger, but you have your dad's hazel eyes? Or will your nose do that little dance mine does before I yawn? I wonder what your hair will do when it's wet. Pretty loose curls like your dad's, or scrunch up tight and hold its breath like your mom's. But what if I'm wrong? What if all this imagining and hoping and believing is for nothing? I know I sound pessimistic, but what if that 9-year-old little girl never gets to realize her dream? What if the very process of bringing forth life results in death? My body has become someone's home, and I am afraid. I am terrified that this miracle won't last, that every effort we put forth will be in vain, that every minute we spent building the crib, painting the walls, buying diapers, and going to birthing classes, everything else we do will have been an unfruitful labor of time. And my fear is not rooted by insecurities of my own body. For 29 years, my body has proven the depths of its strength. It has closed openings that exposed me, fought diseases that tried to grip me, and laughed at the men in my past that wanted to mold me. My body carries the rejuvenating waters that my ancestors bathed in. It is a temple for those who need sanctuary. It is earth taking seed and turning it into life. My body is someone's home, and it is not what I question. It is not the fuel that ignites my fear. My body is not the fuel that ignites my fear. It's other women that look like me, who also have been someone's home, whose voices weren't heard. No, better yet, voices heard and then silenced, hands extended from white coats covering their mouths, women who have been told that listening to their bodies didn't fit this context, that their fears were irrational, that all they needed to do was wait it out. Serena Williams, a pro athlete and powerhouse of a woman, put in a position to demand what her body needed and ended up saving her own life. She has the money, the best care you can imagine, and optimal health, yet her voice was almost silenced. If it can happen to her and countless other Black and brown women across this world, why can't it happen to me? Why shouldn't I be afraid when even the smallest abnormality happens? Why shouldn't I be afraid when everything is going right? What if the very process of bringing forth life results in death? And this is journal number entry 327, September 24th. My husband hasn't stopped crying now. 7 days now, and this rock of a man has dropped more tears than he ever has in our 5 years of marriage. We never discussed it, but I think he was afraid too. He holds our son with his arm perfectly angled and confident that he will always secure our little miracle. His eyes twinkle and light our hearts like a star in a distant galaxy. His warmth and kisses are overwhelming. His every move catches my attention, and his weight keeps me grounded. What my hands were once laid on, my arms cannot hold. We beat the odds, but we shouldn't have to. That fear that once held me captive will be the fear that fuels my fight. The stats may not represent my story, but it could have. Our process of bringing forth life didn't result in death, but it could have. So until these women whose bodies have become someone's home, until they are heard, I will be here with the passion of that 9-year-old little girl, and I will fight for them, for me, and for us.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love the way that you're bringing social justice and calling things out as a therapist. So keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, we need your voices. We need all of your voices. You know, Dr. King says we need to hear powerful voices. He says, even if we had Black faces and faces of color, if their voices was muted, it wouldn't provide the political power that we need. So please continue to speak your voice in your scholarship, in your service, in your work, because the world needs to hear that. Now we're gonna close it out with TT. TT, we've been talking about Afro beats. Now we're ready for you to move us. I think we got about 15 minutes. And audience, if you could just hang with us for a little bit, we may go a couple minutes over. But TT, if you can do your thing for us, like in 10 minutes, if
Yep.
you can, get us moving.
All right. So I need permission to share my screen so I can share the music with y'all. Okay, awesome. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all the moves without the music first, and then we'll incorporate the song. So I guess I have some bias. Most of the moves, actually all of them, are from Western Africa. So I'll be sure to explain where they're from. So I'm gonna stand back. Hopefully y'all can see. Is this good? Can you hear me okay? If you just do a thumbs up, I can see.
Yes,
Okay,
we can hear
awesome.
you.
Okay, great. So the first move we're gonna start with is gonna be an 8 count up. So we're gonna start with, I'll show you the simplified version. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna do that twice. Now, to add some oomph into it, there are a number of ways you can do this, which is one of the reasons I love Afrobeats. You don't have to do the moves correctly. You just have to look like you know what you're doing, and that's good enough. So you wanna do a rotation with your hips while you're bringing your arms up. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to add another layer, and when you hear the music, you do what your body feels. You can hop on the first count, right? So you can start with 1 here, or you can drop into a squat and start the count. So you'll either start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you can start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you can hold the squat the whole time. So whatever your body feels comfortable doing or how the music moves you. So we have those 2 different layers. So now the next move that we're gonna do is, the creators are from Gabon, so also in Western Africa, and it's called the Jazé. And what you're gonna do, so I wanna make sure you all can see my feet. You're gonna take your right foot, put it behind your left, step your left out, and then bring your right foot out. And then you're gonna do the same thing, left behind the right, step your right foot out, and your left. Okay, are we good? If someone just gives me a thumbs up, okay, awesome. So at full pace, you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going right, left, 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 okay? So we're gonna do that for 2 8 counts. The other part you wanna add to this move is your shoulders, and there's no particular way that you need to move your shoulders, you just need to move them with your feet. So I'll demonstrate, so you guys just watch me for this first 8 count, and then we'll do the second 8 count together. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So now let's try that together, and I'll count us in. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you're doing this and you're like, Chi-Chi, I'm lost, we have a modification, okay? You can just step out. So you'll step out with your left foot and just keep the same count. So you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We do it a second time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So whatever you feel comfortable with, as long as you're keeping the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 count. All right, so we're gonna start from the top, okay? So I'll count us in. 5, 6, 7, arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jazz it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Do you want me to do it again? Give me a thumbs up, or we can keep going. Thumbs up if you want to keep going.
Tamaria said, let's dance. She ready.
All right. So after we finish with that last step, the next move we're going to do is called Bakujemu, which is from Nigeria. Essentially, you're going to punch up, so kind of like you're doing an uppercut as you move forward, okay? So as your right foot comes up, you're going to punch up. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On 7, you're going to hit your shoulder forward on 8, okay? So let me demonstrate. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you're like, with that shoulder on 8, okay? After you hit, you're gonna come back, and again, more waist movement, which is central to Afrobeats. You're gonna do an 8 count, moving your waist in circles. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're gonna repeat the exact same sequence. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? All right. So let's try that from the top, and I'll count you guys in again. So 5, 6, 7, arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jazz it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get it? Okay, I see the thumbs up. So I'm gonna shorten the dance a little bit for sake of time. This will be the last move that we're gonna do, and it's called the Zanku, which also originates from Nigeria. And essentially what you're gonna do, you're gonna hop on your right foot and cross your arms, and then you're gonna hop onto your left foot. Okay, so you just do this, back and forth. So without the arms, if you can see my feet, I'm hopping onto the right, tapping with the left, hopping on the left, tapping with the right. So I'm gonna exaggerate it. I know I'm far from you, so hopefully you can see. So right, left, right, right, left, right, okay? While you're hopping, your arms need to be crossed, and you can move your shoulders while you're doing it. So you're gonna go right, left, right, left. Now, a modification that you can do is keeping the same rhythm, and instead of hopping, you can just kind of bounce. So you'll go right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay, so we're gonna do that for 2 8 counts, and then I think we can stop there. That's probably the most high intensity move in the song, and it is a workout. So listen to your bodies and incorporate the modification. Okay, so let's do that together. Just the Zanku part. I'll count us in. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's run the whole sequence from the top one more time, and then I'm gonna add in the music so we can get moving. Okay, so from the top, 5, 6, 7, arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Jazzy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Zanku. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. How's everyone doing? You ready for the music?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So I will count you in like I did without the music, and we'll do it together. All right, so let me just share my sound. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, so y'all should be able to hear the music. Let's just do a test to be sure. Yeah, okay. We'll start that. I'm gonna count you guys in.
Baby, I be on my way, I be on my way. If you tell me say, you go give me left today. Tell it down to when me on the way, to me on the way. Make you love me. You sing it back me like you got no ribs, so you just start out with your waist and hips, so yeah. I'm that this guy give me something to please you. You dey make my heart to do kiss kiss you. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm ready fire. I'm a big killer require. Tell me what's your desire. I don't want to see Maya. Timaya. I'm a big killer require. Timaya.
Woo, I'm getting warm. All right, I think this is gonna be our last time, so we're gonna go all out. If you forget the moves, that's fine. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. 6, 7, 8. Get ready to jazz, eh?
Baby, I'll be on my way. If you don't be say, you give me that. Belly got the way me out of ways, make you give me love, yeah. You swing your body like you got no ribs, so you can start out with your waist and hips, so yeah. And that this guy give me something to please you. You dey make my heart to do kiss you, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm ready fire. I'm a big killer require. Tell me what's your desire. I do you.
Awesome.
Wonderful. I love it. Thank you, Chi. Thank you so much. I hope those of you in the audience really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Chi.
Yes.
Let me just tell you, I mean, there Chi showing you Afro beats, but you can use any kind of music that inspires you. Gospel music. We know that that's been impactful. A lot of churches are having fitness sessions in their basements because that's a way of empowering, women and Black women and people of color to move. So whatever music that touches your soul, we encourage you to do it because we want you to move. Thank you so much, Chi, for that demonstration. So let me look here. We're at time. And before we bring closure, I want to just say thank you so much again to the panelists. You all have been awesome. I mean, we really need more time to talk about all the things that we need to talk about. But I just want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your insight, leading us through mindfulness activities, sharing it with us, a nice presentation of social justice and how the body is impacted with you, Dr. Washington, with your mindfulness, Abigail, but also, Chi, thank you for getting us to move. Now, what I want, Devaney, if you could be so kind, we have 5 lucky winners who are going to receive their copy of this book, Dr. King's book, on which our theme has been based. Where do we go from here? Community or chaos? If you will look in the chat, Devaney, I think, let's see. Let me read the names to you. Our raffle winners are Ariana Castillo, Dana Banks, Lexi Cheput, Miko Yoshiyama, and Nicholas Mulari. I apologize profusely if I didn't pronounce your name right, but Devaney will reach out to you. We will coordinate and we will find a way to make sure we get you this book. Thank you all so much again for participating in our series, the Health Sciences series on where do we go from here, body politics, moving towards racial empowerment. Thank you so much to the panelists. Thank you to those of you in Zoom land for joining us. Thank you to the Health Sciences Committee, the Health Sciences Deans. And as we close, I just want to remind you to stay safe, to stay helpful, to stay hopeful, and in the spirit of kinesiology, keep moving. Thank you so much, everyone. Peace and blessings. Enjoy your day. Thank you again.